Hello, I'm Agat Liking.
I'm Jordan Bates.
I'm Favor Walla.
I'm Paola Portillo.
And we are Ages of Weathering and Erosion. These are the agents of weathering and erosion. This is a germinating seed growing through a rock, breaking it down. This is an example of weathering.
This shows oxidation and toxic rain. In the top row of pictures, there is a perfectly new wrench. Then it shows oxidation and toxic rain rusting the wrench. Then it starts to break down the wrench when it starts to rust. On the bottom row of pictures, it shows a perfectly new steel bar. When soaked in vinegar, it starts to rust and pieces start to fall off. This is an example of weathering. The ocean waves are hitting the rock, and the more it hits the rock, the smaller the rock gets. This is an example of weathering and erosion. In the picture on the right, by such a high temperature, this rocks start to break down. This is an example of weathering. On the picture on the left, it shows a glacier carrying little tiny pieces of rock. This is an example of weathering and erosion.
The wind and water is washing away parts of the rock. This is an example of weathering and erosion. This took a very long time. The wind is weathering and eroding the rock and is getting smaller. The weathering happened because the wind was beating the rock. The hurricane is weathering and eroding the things around it.
The tornado is eroding and weathering the rocks, trees, and vegetation.
My name is Richard Ty Wanamaker.
My name is Alex Jr.
And my name is Lourdes Rincon Cruz.
So today we are going to talk about weathering and erosion and how it affects on Earth's surface. So first we are going to talk about weathering. So in this picture, as you can see, there is a nail having chemical reaction. And what caused this nail to have a chemical reaction was water and air. So as you can see in this other demonstration, a shovel is rusting week by week, and what caused this shovel to rust week by week was rain and air. To rust week by week. Now we're going to be showing the rest of the demonstrations of weathering. Now we will be explaining the meaning of erosion, which is when something gets eroded away from where it was at first. For example, in this picture, as you can see, the sand is getting eroded more onto land because the water slowly changed and eroded the sand away. Now we are going to be showing the rest of the examples of erosion.
Weathering and Erosion by
Dosa Madrid.
Kevin Sandifer.
Jefferson Orwell.
A house being pulled by a tornado. This is an example of erosion.
It is the wind pushing the little sand rocks somewhere else.
The tree is ground out of the ground and they rock this break down to make room for the tree.
A tree that's been pushed by erosion. The segment of the layers of the earth.
This is a tree getting struck by lightning and it has a dent.
Down is broke because they rock whether they down away.
Fossils being pushed down by the segmentary rock.
A rock is breaking down because the rain is getting inside the cracks.
The trees that are growing, browning down. This is an explain of a weathering.
The end.
Raha Trayvon.
Every time the rock gets harder, the rock will crack more and more. The acid rain will make the rock have tiny pieces fall off, and the rock will get smaller. When the magma touches the floor and the rock crack, it turns into sedimentary rock. This is erosion and weathering because the wind pushes the house over and over for years. This is erosion and weathering. The erosion is the house's eroding away, and the weathering is the tornado. The weathering is that there is a tsunami, and the erosion is that the tsunami will erode the houses away.
Cameron Bailey.
Alicia Lambs.
Lydia Macias.
And Tavon Donaldson.
The first picture is weathering and erosion working together. The mountain got weathered and erosion moved the rocks down. This is how they work together. And the next picture is about how a tornado can affect the earth and how it breaks down the rocks. This is erosion.
And the next picture is about how a tsunami can affect the earth by weathering. And the next picture is about how a flood affects the underground. This is weathering.
And this picture shows how hurricanes affect the earth and how they affect the ground. In this picture, is how earthquakes affect things on earth. This is weathering.
In this picture, it shows how Grand Canyons are made, how they get weathering by water. In this picture, it shows how rain helps trees grow. This is weathering.
Woodland.
Melanie Ayala.
Claire Parker.
Alice Sasse.
Zakai Jackson.
This is weathering. As you can see, the wind is blowing on the cliff, causing little pieces from the cliff to go onto the sand.
Now we're in erosion. After the pieces of the cliff is in the sand, the water takes them away. There are two types of weathering. The first one is physical weathering, and the second one is chemical weathering. Physical weathering is when someone or something breaks the rock. Chemical weathering is when a type of chemical breaks the rock. Here is another example of physical weathering and chemical weathering. When a plant is planted, it can go through the rock, causing the rock to break. Air pollution is another example of chemical weathering.
Here's something that happens in the cold places, glaciers. When global warming starts to melt the fresh water, making the salt water and freshwater meet, causing estuaries. Let's get a closer look at it now. We are at the ice cap, where the weathering happens, and the water takes away part of the mountain. This is one of the most famous victims of weathering and erosion, the Grand Canyon. As the river keeps going and flowing on the rocks, little by little, pieces of the rock phase away in the river, which is erosion. And the wind can come and show weathering by blowing away pieces of the rock into the river.
Then